Welcome back to The Deep Dive. You've handed us your confidential stack of articles and reports, and we are taking a plunge into what feels like one of the most stressful weeks at Stamford Bridge this season.
It really does.
It's Chelsea versus Everton, and the mood in West London, well, it feels heavy, almost apprehensive.
It absolutely does. The sources we reviewed, they paint a pretty stark picture. You know, the initial optimism around Maresca's tactics is, well, it's being overshadowed by some serious crisis management right now.
Yeah.
We're looking at a slump. It started in December with 3 matches without a win. A defeat to Leeds, that frustrating home draw against Bournemouth, and then the real gut punch.
The Atalanta game.
Letting a 1-goal lead just slip away in a defeat against Atalanta on Tuesday.
Yeah. That match really feels like the inflection point, doesn't it? It wasn't just a loss. It felt like a visible system failure, a breakdown that suggests fatigue is really setting in.
Physically and mentally.
So our mission today is to cut through all that noise. We're going to analyze Maresca's predicted starting 11, understand the physical tightrope he's walking, and, crucially, identify the massive risks he's taking.
Especially against an Everton side that's, frankly, finding a bit of form.
Exactly.
And that context around Maresca's philosophy is key. He's trying to stay zen about it all, telling the press that 1 week won't define the season.
Right.
But that belief, you see, it gives him license to be really aggressively rotational today, even with these poor results. He sees it as long-term management.
Okay, let's get specific then. If he's going to rotate that aggressively, he needs some anchors. But the defense, that's where the workload seems to be biting the hardest.
Well, let's start where there is some stability.
Yeah.
The keeper. Robert Sanchez, he's generally had a fine start. His spot is secure.
I sense a but.
But yeah, the critique from the Atalanta match was very specific. The sources suggested he was maybe a bit culpable on that second goal, perhaps a bit slow getting down.
A minor fault line then, but he starts.
He starts.
Now for the biggest shakeup at the back. Talk to me about the captain, Reece James.
James is the first forced rotation. He's played back-to-back 90s, and the medical staff, they just can't risk him again in the schedule.
So Malo Gusto comes in.
Malo Gusto slots in at right back. But this isn't just a like-for-like swap, and that's the tactical risk here.
Tell me more about that. What's the fundamental difference on that right flank when you go from James to Gusto?
Well, James, when he's healthy, he's all about control and precision, yet defensive stability, and his crossing is world-class. When you bring in Gusto, you're getting raw pace.
Forward thrust.
Exactly. Aggressive overlaps, high line pressing. So Maresca is sacrificing some of that control for pure attacking momentum. It's a trade-off that could leave space behind them if Everton counter quickly.
That's a big trade-off when you need solidity. Shifting inward, the center backs, there was some curious maneuvering there in the last match.
The halftime against Atalanta was, let's call it pre-planned chaos. First, Wesley Fofana. When I saw reports he left the pitch after taking a strike to the eye, I feared the worst.
Another long-term layoff.
Thankfully, no. The notes confirm he's fit and available for Everton today, which is a massive relief.
And that ties right into the strange sub involving Trevoh Chalobah. He's the one Fofana replaced at halftime, but he seemed fine.
Exactly. Chalobah's substitution was purely preemptive. The sources are really clear on this. Maresca decided before the match he would only play 45 minutes to protect his workload.
So it wasn't a tactical failure?
Not at all. It was just schedule-driven planning to make sure he's 100% fresh for this Everton game.
It sounds less like a football manager and more like a high-stakes accountant managing a risk portfolio.
It is entirely that.
Yeah.
And rounding out that back four is Marc Cucurella, who looks like he's carrying the heaviest load of all. He looked visibly spent against Atalanta.
So why is he predicted to start again? That seems to defy the whole logic of rotation.
This is where you see the desperation setting in. Maresca is pushing him to the absolute limit now because he knows he can completely rest him for the upcoming Cardiff City game.
So he'll take a tired Cucurella today for a fully rested one next week.
It's a highly risky short-term push. He's basically saying we need his presence right now more than we fear his fatigue.
Fascinating. So the defense is held together by planned minutes and one very tired left back. Let's move to the engine room. How is he planning to control the midfield with these key absences?
Well, control's the right word, but the tools he has are extremely limited. Moises Caicedo is serving the final match of his suspension.
And Dario Isugo is still out.
Still sidelined. So that leaves the core partnership to Enzo Fernandez, who, like Cucurella, is starting to look visually fatigued.
What does that fatigue look like in Enzo? He sets the tempo. If he slows down, the whole team does?
Absolutely. It shows up in two areas. First,
Right.
his press coverage. He's less explosive closing down space. And second, his passing. Those longer passes are starting to go astray.
But he has to start. He's indispensable.
He is. But he's running on fumes.
This sounds like the perfect storm for a highly anticipated first start. This has to be the Andre Santos moment.
It is. The need created by the absences meets the desire of the fan base. The belief is rock solid that Andre Santos will start today.
And the logic is simple, right?
The logic is simple, and it's very Maresca. He didn't play a single minute against Atlanta, so he is the freshest midfielder they have.
The fans are desperate to see this Brazil international, but let me challenge that. Is Maresca setting Santos up to fail by throwing him into a must-win game just because he has fresh legs?
That is the critical tension, isn't it? He's not gently introducing him, he's deploying him out of sheer necessity. Maresca sees this as a sink-or-swim test.
And he's hoping the energy overrides the inexperience.
He's banking on it, yeah. That raw athleticism. It's a massive test of character for the 20-year-old.
Okay, so the midfield is driven by absences. Let's move to the most unpredictable and maybe self-destructive area, the attack. This is where we go from necessary rotation to an outright gamble.
And the biggest gamble, the one that should concern every Chelsea fan, is Cole Palmer. He is predicted to start, and his physical condition is extremely precarious.
Just remind us of the context here. This has been a long-running issue.
It's a persistent groin injury. It sidelined him for over 2 months, and the recovery has been shaky. Maresca himself admitted Palmer's return has not been straightforward.
And there's more, isn't there?
Yeah, this is the really concerning bit from the notes. Palmer is still dealing with pain. He has good days and bad days with the injury.
So a manager is knowingly starting a player who is in chronic pain, whose performance literally depends on him having a good day. That feels, I don't know, borderline unethical, never mind high risk.
Maresca is addicted to Palmer's creative output. Without him, the team really struggles to link midfield to attack. The risk is huge. A bad turn, a sudden sprint, it could re-aggravate the injury immediately.
And that could mean another long-term layoff.
Possibly even surgery. Maresca is effectively prioritizing 3 points today over Palmer's health for the rest of the season. It suggests the pressure of this slump is overriding medical caution.
That's a huge amount of pressure on the whole attack. Shifting to the wing, we're expecting to see the debut of another talented Brazilian teenager, Estevão Willian.
Yes, the 18-year-old winger. And there was real surprise he didn't play against Atlanta. The team was chasing the game, desperate for pace, and he stayed on the bench.
But the prediction is he starts today.
The prediction is firm. Maresca will surely use him from the start this afternoon on the right flank.
And his inclusion immediately forces a ripple effect, right? It creates another tactical compromise.
That's exactly right. Because Estevão plays on the right, Pedro Neto gets shifted over to the left side. And while Maresca trusts him, the source material is clear that Neto is usually not as effective from that position.
Why is that shift so detrimental for him?
Well, Neto loves to operate from the right. It gives him the angle to cut inside onto a stronger foot. From the left, he's either forced onto his weaker foot for a cross or down to the byline. It just limits his goal threat.
So you're sacrificing Neto's proven impact for Estevão's potential.
That's the trade? Yeah.
And finally, the striker. Maresca can't afford any ambiguity up top with all this risk behind him.
No. The choice is João Pedro, and it's almost by default. Liam Delap is out for a few weeks with a shoulder injury.
And the trust in Mark Yu just isn't there yet.
It seems unclear at best. So João Pedro, who's looking to build on his goal against Atlanta, gets the nod. The responsibility to lead this experimental line falls on him.
That brings us to the summary. Let's recap the complete predicted XEA. It's a lineup that feels defined by necessity, injury management, and just sheer risk-taking.
It's a statement XEI. Maresca is basically telling everyone, I have a long-term plan, and I will not deviate, even if it means risking results and player health.
So here it is, the predicted Chelsea the EIF against Everton. In goal, Robert Sanchez. The defense: Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Trevoh Chalobah, and the very tired Marc Cucurella.
The midfield anchor will be Enzo Fernandez, alongside the debut starter, Andre Santos.
And that attacking four, holding all the potential and all the risk: Estevão Willian on the right, the potentially compromised Cole Palmer in the middle, Pedro Neto pushed wide left, and João Pedro up top.
And the key takeaway for you here is that blend of aggression and desperation. Changes like Gusto for James and Santos for Caicedo, that's pure necessity.
He has no choice.
Exactly. But starting the 18-year-old Estevao and, critically, starting Cole Palmer despite his known injury issues, that is aggressive risk-taking.
So we circle back to the manager's core philosophy. He's prioritizing his rotation plan above all else. But what's the ultimate cost of that?
This raises a really important question, I think. Maresca is relying on this high-volume rotation to manage fatigue long-term.
Yeah.
Rotation inherently sacrifices team cohesion and rhythm.
Which they desperately need right now.
Right. When results are already poor, how much more stability can you afford to lose? He's betting that the energy from Santos and Estevao plus Palmer's sheer talent will outweigh the risks.
So is he sacrificing the short-term ability to get out of the slump for the sake of long-term squad management? And is this a luxury they can even afford right now?
That's what we'll find out when that whistle blows at Stamford Bridge.
A great point to leave us on. Thank you for joining us for the Dip Dive. We'll catch you next time.